Hello, everyone. Welcome back to episode 23 of the Main Stand podcast. It's me returning, Josh Ricker, with my two buddies, Mitchell and Pat. How are you doing, guys?
I'm doing great. Welcome back, Dad.
My knees are sore. It's cold in Maine, and I'm ready for another Liverpool win this weekend.
It was fucking cold in Maine. I was expecting Maine to be warmer, and Minnesota and Maine are just the two same states halfway across the country. It's just cold in both places.
We're at that part in the year where it's just like incredibly raw outside. That's just like
God. Yeah, it's way too cold.
Best way to put it. I'm on another sleepless night, so at 5:30 when I was going to get my Starbucks to keep going, I had to stop and get gas, and it was -5.
No, I'm good with that.
Nope.
The new job is fully remote for the time being, so I am like loving it. I don't ever have to leave my house. I'm warm. It's perfect for me.
I haven't gone outside in like 4 months. It's insane. So like, I know how you feel. It's a good feeling when you first get here, but then you get sucked into it.
I love it.
But you get to watch a lot of footy.
It's true.
No comment. Let's dive right in, boys. We have quite a bit to talk about, a lot to catch up with. I mean, we're not going to talk too much about last week's or the weekend's fixtures, but we do have some trending stories from the past couple days that I think are pretty interesting. The first one being an ex-Arsenal captain, current Arsenal player, Granit Xhaka, just a couple days after getting a red card against Liverpool, finds himself in this thing this morning. The FA Cup is apparently investigating an Arsenal player. Now, basically, they've whittled it down to this Xhaka incident against Leeds. This hasn't been confirmed by the FA or anything like that, but they did confirm it was an Arsenal player. Some sort of betting anomaly about a player getting a yellow card. That seems suspicious. There was an incident at Leeds where Granit Xhaka is on the free kick. Arsenal are up 4-1 with about 5 minutes left to go in the game. And he basically just stands there, kind of trying to waste time. His teammates are even running to the ball to show him, like, hey, here's an option. And he just refuses to pass to them until he gets a yellow. And everyone is screaming corruption. So it had to be Granit Xhaka, didn't it, guys?
It is the most Granit Xhaka thing to happen.
When you were telling us, the details of that before we started, that's just like it had to be him, right? There's no other player that in right now, maybe Aubameyang, honestly, but there's no other player like at Arsenal that feels like they're gonna find themselves in like that situation, other than one of those two being, Xhaka or Aubameyang.
It's not even like shithouse, is it? It's just like being stupid.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like Xhaka's stupidity is almost like Luis Suarez and biting people. Like, it's just, they go hand in hand. And if this comes out to be any sort of true, it's hilarious. And what are the repercussions? Because if it comes out that this is the actual situation, obviously we're just talking speculation here. Could Arsenal get a points dock? Could Xhaka end up getting a ban?
I think you'll get a ban. So I was telling Mitch before we hopped on, the last time this happened was 6 years ago. It was like a championship or League One side. And the guy did the same thing. It was like a yellow card situation. I think he did it in multiple FA Cup ties. So he did it multiple games, and he got a 6-year ban from the FA. So this could be serious, because if you guys remember, this happened to Daniel Sturridge actually too, but he did it for a bet on him leaving on a transfer. So nothing in-game related, but he got docked a year from the FA for that. So something in-game, Xhaka getting a yellow card. He could be facing a few-year ban from the FA, which means he'll probably fuck off out to Roma in Italy. I just can't believe he was a captain of Arsenal Football Club.
All I gotta say is, like, you make enough money playing the game to begin with. Why meddle in bets on yourself? Like, why do you need the extra money? Like, I feel like that's just like the dumbest thing you could do as an athlete is bet on yourself when it comes to actually putting money on a bet. Like, go all in on yourself, please. But don't fix a game or fix a situation just to get a payout. Like, that's just like a, here, look at me, I'm an idiot, like neon sign floating above your head.
Do you think it was for him, or do you think it was like for a buddy? It's like a buddy's a little strapped for cash. He doesn't want to give him any of his money. Granted, Xhaka getting a yellow card isn't that surprising of a scenario.
No, Xhaka loves getting carded.
Why help him with such like an easy bet that his buddy put like fucking $300,000 on it? It
was obviously big enough to trigger it. Like, it was the betting company that triggered the response of, this is crazy weird, and they reached out to the FA. So there's some shady shit going on. It had to be Arsenal, it had to be Xhaka, but this is like the biggest story of the day on football Twitter.
My last point with it is, does a 6-year Xhaka hypothetical ban actually help Arsenal?
Yes.
They don't have to play him anymore.
He's bad, man. I just can't get over him. He might be one of the more comical footballers in the 2010s.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, for sure. It's just like, I feel like all the comedy players play at Arsenal.
Yeah.
Lord Bentner. Like, I'll give a Lord Bentner shout right now.
I mean, Bentner, you've got the shit with Adebayor and
the
Yep.
Nasri, like
Sammy Nasri, yep. Just absolute shambles.
What a club.
The next biggest story from the weekend, it was a game I was watching at Reraw in Portland. My man's Coutinho. Mitch, show him the back of your jersey. Coutinho. He's back in the Premier League, man. He's balling.
Had to do it.
Balling already. Goal and assist. Coming off the bench, man. Him and this, the Jacob Ramsey kid. I mentioned him a couple episodes ago. Balling at Villa. They tie it up to get a draw against Manchester United, and the scenes in that Villa end were just unreal.
Yeah,
it's really good, man. They do.
Looked very good. And, Coutinho post-match just saying he missed the Premier League, he missed being out there, and he was just excited. Like, you could tell he felt like he was at home, and that was evident. Came on the pitch, made an instant impact, huge goal and an assist for the club, and helped secure a point.
And absolutely taking the piss out of the Manx.
You love to see it.
It's the other side of Manchester, so I love to see it.
But with Coutinho's first massive performance back in the Premier League, the rumors are starting to actually firm up that we could see Luis Suarez make the move this summer to Aston Villa for his return to the Premier League. I know I mentioned it last week, but it's kind of it seems like a good fit. If Gerrard is having this team play the way he wants them to, he just made 2 incredibly large signings for that side, especially going into the second half of the season. It's going to be a place people want to come and play. It's a respected captain for over a decade for one of the biggest Premier League clubs. And now he's managing and he's finding success almost immediately. So if he's able to get the band back together and lure Suarez in over the summer, I think that could be a massive boost to Aston Villa's status as a club in the Premier League.
I'd be interested to see if Gerrard could pull some guys that aren't former teammates, and that's no knock on him. I think just like being able to pull Coutinho to come play at Villa is insane, and even for there to be Suarez rumors and then feel like they could come true is also insane. But I feel like so Villa appoint Gerrard, and the next logical step is like to really take a couple steps forward and really try to push for like top 8 in the Premier League, like hopeful top 6, but you know what I mean? Like, you bring in these kind of guys, and you expect a team with Suarez and Coutinho, even at like the tail ends of their careers, to be like, pushing for, like more than just like a steady middle of the pack finish, which is like Villa would consider good this year. I would be interested to see if Gerrard can keep them playing this well, and then pull in some guys that might not, he might not be able to call them up on the phone and be like, "Hey, it's me, Steven G. Remember when we played together?" And like that, but try and like actually bring in like real talent that isn't like associated with him already or with what he did in the past.
Did you make it the Lucas Digne signing? Because that one was weird to me, because supposedly he was leaving because of Rafa, but he left like 2 days before Rafa got sacked.
I think Digne just wanted out, honestly. Yeah. Everton are just an absolute disaster right now.
Yeah, even Rafa getting sacked, it's not gonna improve the side. Like the timing is so piss poor. Like if they had done it, maybe a month ago, and had somebody that was in there as an interim manager or somebody that was helping push them in the direction that they want to go for the foreseeable future, but they don't. They sack them right after the first week and a half of the winter window. You have no room to improve now. You have no clear direction, and you just lost one of your best defenders, if not top players.
So like a weird appointment at Everton in general. So
why? I want your guys' take on this real quick. Why don't they just give Duncan Ferguson like a full shot at being manager? Because it seems like they always get a bounce in form when he takes over. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. Last year, I remember when he took over, I feel like they really picked it up. And like, I feel like he's done that multiple times now. Why don't they just give him a run?
I think Everton are trying to take that. This is just my 2 cents. It feels to me like Everton are trying to take that like next step.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Appointing a guy, like, especially with the Benitez appointment, like they appointed like a really successful pass manager. They splashed all that cash on all those new midfielders. Like they were really trying to build this new feeling team. And then I feel like them appointing Duncan, appointing him kind of feels like a step in a different direction than what the board maybe want Everton to be doing, which is why I don't think he's really gotten his chance. That being said, I think if he can turn the ship around and get Everton back into good form, if they don't give him a full season, they're insane. Honestly, like he's got the fans, like it just seems
he's
crazy.
He's also just Everton through and through. Like he makes sense. He understands it. And like, I just feel like he's the smartest bet at the moment. They're not going to get anyone else better than him, and I just don't.
No.
If you're not going to ever appoint him as manager, like when something like this happens, why are you keeping him around? Because he's the one instilling that culture in the dressing room of like showing players what Everton is and what Everton was. If you're never going to make him manager, what's the point of that? Because then you're just keeping someone around whose views and culture might not align with the current manager. It's the same thing of keeping Michael Carrick around Manchester United. What the fuck is the point of it? But that's my take on Everton. I mean they're shit for a reason. So
I do have one last thing to say. Just shout out to all the Agent Rafa memes. I think my favorite one has been Benitez, the spy who shagged Everton, and it lists what Benitez's accomplishments were as the Liverpool inside agent, and on the blue side of Merseyside. Got rid of the director of football, director of medical, head of recruitment, and manager of scouting. Sold James Rodriguez. Sold Lucas Digne to Steven Gerrard. Lost the Merseyside Derby 4-1. And left them in 16th, fighting for their fucking lives. So,
Rafa. Oh,
Rafa. So I'm going to miss Rafa at the wheel. I really am. Sorry, not sorry.
This will be my last. We're spending a lot of time on Rafa, and I promise I'll be done after this. But Jamie Carragher kind of called this how like Rafa's historically had this very much of a a cold heart when it comes to players. He's very like transactional as a manager. And Kara called that like that absolutely does not work in like the current dressing room. You need someone like that's transactional. That's really going to transform a dressing room, and he's just not that guy in like a modern dressing room, which I think is why he's been passed around, like a spliff lately. So shout out to Jamie Carragher for kind of calling that at the beginning of the year.
I feel like Rafa's stuck in like 2003.
Yeah, he's like Arsene Wenger, like at the end of his career.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel, but my thing is, I feel like Wenger could come back and actually do a good job at some clubs.
I think he realized, though,
could.
after getting sacked, I think he came to a realization that he was in the wrong. So I do agree with you, Pat. I think when he came back, he would understand that he has to change.
Right.
Yeah.
Rafa, like Mitch said, feels like he's stuck in the early 2000s.
There's no changing him. It's like he looks the same. He hasn't changed a bit. He's probably still wearing the same suits. Like, I don't know. Just like definitely time to probably hang him up at this point after what he did at Everton.
We'll see.
Last
little
Premier League story. Well, I guess we have another one too. We're going to talk about Spurs here in a second, but Harvey Elliott back in training. This one's more of a me and Mitch thing,
exciting.
But wow, that's exciting. And those new training ranges.
If we don't see our away kit looking like that next year, like dark forest green with black and gold highlights, like if I don't see that, I'm going to be fuming. Those training tops are fuego.
I'm going to be looking like I'm in House of Gucci when I get all this training stuff, man. It's unreal. They're definitely playing off the Gucci colors the past couple of years, which I'm fine with. It's kind of funny. I love those new training kits, though.
They're so clean.
And Harvey's back. Harvey, what an
back.
addition, especially with those guys. I know he's not back, but like with everyone at AFCON, like we're finding a way to work him back at the team, like
and having a fresh, exciting, creative midfielder who is starting to get healthy again is very, very, very good to see.
We love the transfer activity, right? New transfer.
Like, I don't care if he comes out for his first appearance, whenever it is, and puts up a stinker. I'm just happy the kid has overcome a vicious ankle injury and is back within the same season and is not relenting on his mindset. It's good to see.
And then just a quick touch here, because I know we talk a lot about the U.S. men's national team, so it's relevant. The anti-homophobic chants in Mexico. I believe this takes place in their domestic league and in international fixtures. Anyone that gets caught doing that is sentenced to a 5-year ban for attending matches, which that's been a problem ever since I've been watching U.S. men's soccer or like CONCACAF. So I thought that was like a kind of a cool thing that came through today on Twitter that's taking place here pretty soon.
CONCACAF's getting sneaky, like aggressive. You know what I mean? Like when you start playing these South American teams, that it's just a different culture, and it can get sticky. And the rivalry that we have with Mexico is up there with international soccer rivalries. So it's good to see that they're cracking down on the bullshit.
Yeah, I think that's true too. Just from like a excuse me, sorry, I just drank a lot of seltzer water really fast. Just from like a health of the game standpoint, I think keeping the sport as inclusive as possible, and banter is banter. I will sit here all day and tell Mitch how shit Liverpool is sitting right next to him, and we'll exchange anything to do with performance on the pitch and just like relevant jokes about players, but there's certain shit that just kind of crosses the line. And I think every step that the game can take to take that out of it makes it a better place for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's about the game. It's about the game. You don't have to add all this other slander. And I feel like within the last couple of years, it like with the focus on no room for racism and taking a knee to start matches, and it's been at the forefront of the message that the Premier League's been putting out for 2 years now. Yep. And I feel like with that being said, we're still getting it's not racism now. It's it's other stuff. It's about sexual preference or dead people. Like it's beginning to be a very toxic, violent, verbal like argument between fans, and it's not about the game anymore.
Well, I just think the internet has kind of made way for these little fucking cretins that exist on like Twitter and in the deep corners of Instagram that are,
It's
I
shit
don't
too
know.
when you go up to like fucking Turf Moor and Burnley and they like boo taking the knee and like stuff like that. Like it's just, and especially in the Premier League, I think there's like such a diversity and like an inclusion in what people like want and think is right. And I think, that's definitely wrong and something that while the Premier League's pushing it, there needs to be more stuff put in place to prevent.
Fans need
like
to take it on themselves.
Yeah,
at the end of the day, just be a better person.
Yep.
And that's why Burnley, you can fuck off to the championship.
And then the last quick hit we have before getting into the Fiorentina forecast. I have this one because we just got done watching Spurs and Leicester not that long ago.
What a match!
What a finish! That's the Premier League at its finest.
Absolutely.
For those who didn't watch, game was 2-1. Leicester was winning. Looks like they were going to see it out. And Bergwijn scores 2 goals in the matter of 9 seconds. 2 minutes probably real time. In like game time, it was like, I think there was like 9 seconds remaining. He scored, and then it ended like 9 seconds after, I think, the 95th minute of extra time, or the 5th minute of extra time.
Yeah, it was the 95th and the 90, or into the 95th and into the 97th.
Okay.
For Bergwijn's 2 goals.
And Bergwijn got a yellow card before these 2 goals as well. So a yellow card and 2 goals in the matter of like 5-7 minutes. It was absolutely unreal, and I had no words for it. But it's starting to make me think. And I actually changed my bet on Rick's picks for the Tottenham-Chelsea game. I switched it after watching this match because I do think Conte is rounding the corner with this side to the point where they're going to start winning games they're not supposed to. They don't lose already, but now they're starting to prove people wrong, and Kane's a little bit back on form. You see guys like Bergwijn, who are like right on the fringe, actually starting to play better now. What do you guys think? Are Spurs still Spurs, or are they starting to round the corner with Conte as manager?
No, it feels like there is a definite change in like the way things are going around, just like in general, just like around the aura that is around Tottenham right now feels better. I think Conte is finally getting a chance to impose his football, and he's starting to like instill some confidence in these guys who, over the past couple of seasons have had some pretty, after Pochettino, feels like they've had some pretty like uninspired managers, and it's just been like a generally difficult time for a lot of them. So I think that Conte is really coming in. I think you're starting to see the difference of a manager you're starting to see the difference a manager can make in a dressing room like that, really.
And I think kind of revitalizing the players who may not have been getting the minutes or the chances that they deserved. Somebody like Bergwijn, who isn't necessarily playing out 90 minutes every single game, but he's able to come in to this game and make a game-changing impact. Like 2 unbelievably composed goals. He looked like a top form player. Like he looked like he could fit into any side right now, and it's only helping his draft stock if he decides to leave. I know there's been a lot of talk about him, Conte, making some signings and changing up the squad a little bit, but having these staples that have been through the trials and tribulations, Dele Alli finding a resurgence as well in his form, it only bodes well for the Spurs. It really does. I would love to have Farwell on to hear what he has to say about it, honestly.
Farwell finally getting a turn for good fortune here. So
Hey,
deserved. I mean, hey, it's fan therapy for the main stand. You know
fan
what I mean?
therapy does
proving
not
the work.
miss. Does not miss.
It's true.
I mean, United big 3-1 win over Brentford today.
Yeah. That was a crazy one too. And we have the Ronaldo talking at the end of the match with Ralf Rangnick after getting yanked. That was funny. I'll give Ralf credit. I don't think Ole would have done that ever.
Mm-mm.
So I think it has balls to do that, especially when he's like kind of just Ronaldo is a figure at the club. That's why it's dangerous to get a player like that, because you're signing someone that has equal or more value than your actual club. And to have, a manager that's willing to actually sit him down and be like, hey, stop throwing a fucking fit because you look ridiculous. You're turning 37 in a couple weeks and you're here like whining, talking to yourself. I think to have someone to do that is promising for Man United, as much as I hate saying that.
I want to agree throw up a little bit.
I want to agree. Just fixing the egos that exist in that dressing room, I think, is a good thing. But I don't see much of a difference between Ralf and Ole. In all honesty, yeah, Ole maybe wouldn't have taken Ronaldo off, but I think the way the teams play and just I don't. There's nothing that makes me think this Man United team is going to get any better under Ralf. Which, as a City fan, love to see it, but just like in general, I don't know. I guess I agree with you, Josh. Ole wouldn't have done that, and it is a good thing to see that they have a manager that's like doing something about these fucking egos that they have. But at the end of the day, I just still don't see anything in him, and I'm not like convinced he's really making that much of a difference, because like they still play like shit.
Yeah, do you think he's starting to turn the screw though? That he's like starting to get this in the minds of players, and in the summer when he switches probably to this more kind of sporting director position where he's kind of overseeing transfers, scouting, where he still can have that relationship with the players, but then he can sign a manager that actually has that same philosophy that is better tactically. I think that's where Man United get a little bit scary, is if Rangnick does go to that sporting director role and can hire a coach with those same values and style.
Yeah, no, that I agree with. I think it depends on a number of factors. It depends on Man United is obviously still always going to have like that pull. You know what I mean? Right. They're Man United. They can pay you the money. They're are probably still like one of, if not the biggest club, like in the grand scheme of things
in the world,
in England and in the world. Yeah. But I don't know. I think they have a lot of problems. I think there's still just a lot of egos in that dressing room. I think signing Ronaldo ultimately hurt them in the long run. I think it kind of took them out of the running for a lot of the best talent in Europe right now, because they play that same position. Like United, like just think Holland, for example. The two things United had going before signing Ronaldo were they needed an out-and-out like number 9 for the future, and they had his former coach at is it Molde? Is that the name of the club? Yeah, they had those two big things going for them. Now they've signed a guy who needs to start every game and play striker, and they fired Ole, and that's just like one example. I mean, I don't think there was ever a universe where Mbappe was going to that club, but that's just like another player who I just don't see coming to a club where you're not guaranteed time anywhere near your preferred position when you have a guy like Ronaldo around there.
They also paid $80 million for a right winger, which is another high talent position that takes them out of a lot of other transfer talents. And he's been pretty much shit since the start of the year. So
yeah, I'm just like not super convinced by him. Maybe they'll prove me very wrong in the summer, but yeah, I don't know.
Fair enough.
Maybe Ragnick's too, his transfer philosophy, and he'll be a better scout and bring in some like legitimately good players. But United's track record is like fucking 0 for 10 right now. Is what it feels like, man. They have not made a good signing in so long.
Let's switch it over to Mitch here. We'll switch topics and countries. Mitch, we need your Fiorentina forecast. We haven't had it in a nice week or so. So I need to hear your thoughts on Fiorentina, and more specifically, Dusan Vlahovic.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So the weather's looking actually quite sunny right now, boys. Although we've had some cloud covering in recent days, The boys just put on an absolute exhibition against Genoa, winning 6-0. 6-0. That leaves them in a three-way tie for sixth place, but they are the rightful owners to sixth place on goal differential, up 3 goals, I believe, on the nearest below them. I believe it's still Roma. This weekend, the boys in purple are facing Cagliari, an uninspired side right now. Failed to score in their last 4 matches against Fiorentina, and they've also conceded at least a goal in each of their last 12 home games, which is one of the longest streaks. It's the second longest streak they've ever gone on, and I don't take them, giving Fiorentina any sort of fight this weekend. If the game gets played, they are also having a COVID outbreak through their side. So we will see how that goes. Just a fun fact to give you some perspective on what Fiorentina is doing as a whole this season. Fiorentina have scored as many as 40 goals after 20 Serie A games from the start of the season for the first time since 2013-14. In each of the 8 times they've scored as many as or this amount of goals at this point in the season, they've finished in the top 5 of the Serie A each time.
Damn.
So it is looking good for the boys in purple to finish.
Start shopping around for one of these fucking kits, aren't I?
No.
However, there still is uncertainty in the Dusan Vlahovic camp. He it looks like waved goodbye to the home side after the match this past weekend. So we're going to have to wait and see, but Arsenal are still trying to attack and swoop the striker this winter window. I don't think it's going to happen, but
I've never wanted Arsenal to sign a player more in my fucking life than right now.
For some reason, this guy
out.
has Murata written all over him for me. I don't know.
I don't even care. I just want him out of fucking Fiorentina. I want him out of Florence. Get him the fuck out of that side.
We can't have Mitchell being right, but it is looking sunny, partly cloudy, with a chance of COVID this weekend. So we'll see how things shake out. But I take Fiorentina winning handsomely 3-1. Back to you in the studio, Josh.
We'll stay on the topic of transfer news here. Just a couple quick stories, quick things to touch on. First one's Diego Carlos, the defender from Sevilla, rumored to go to Newcastle. Newcastle's starting to kind of make some big moves here, especially towards the end of the transfer window. I don't know. I think Newcastle will stay up. I've changed my mind.
I would like to agree with you, but they're so fucking bad.
Imagine if Trippier went down to the Championship. How funny that would be.
I mean, if they'd be the richest club down there by a considerable distance.
They would set a record that would not be broken for a very long time.
How far are they down right now? They're in 19th, 20 games played. They're on 12 points. So Watford are on 14. Watford do have a game in hand. Everton are that far down. Wow, Everton's only on 19. That's wild.
I told you, Agent Rafa wasn't fucking around.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Newcastle has some talent. So imagine if Newcastle got relegated and like Saint Maximin, those dogs.
It's honestly going to be like Arthur Blank going down to the sidelines at the Falcons-Patriots Super Bowl, like thinking that it was over. And like I can't wait to see the camera angle of the owners just sat in the box when their team's getting demoted.
I love that. That girl's face is just so funny to me. Every time I see her, I laugh. The other big ones, Ousmane Dembele, contract situation at Barcelona. Apparently, if he doesn't renew, Xavi said today that he's going to be gone in January. Where he's going to go in the next 10 days, I know Liverpool's kind of hinted around it in the past, but I don't see them going in for a winger.
No. No, I don't.
It's a weird
But
one.
I mean, if we need an Afcon replacement right now in the next 10 days, I wouldn't mind taking Dembele. I mean, we who did we sign when we lost all of our center backs last year and then promptly loaned
Ozan
them out?
Kabak.
No, 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 no.
Ben Davies.
Ben Davies. Yeah, he's at. Is he still at Nottingham?
He's at
Not
Sheffield, I
Nottingham.
believe.
Sheffield. So like I don't think it would turn into one of those signings where we just instantly loan him out to a side like that. He's somebody you'd want at least in the team, with not a lot of viable attacking options right now. But I don't see Liverpool dropping the money that Barca is gonna demand for it.
I don't know where else he could even go though at this point.
Newcastle,
That's not a bad shout, honestly.
Villa,
Villa's kind of loaded on the wings. I mean, maybe
they
Villa,
are.
Are they looking to ship out like El Ghazi or Trezeguet? Might be looking to get rid of Trezeguet.
If they get rid of Trezeguet,
I thought El Ghazi went already. I thought he was.
Okay,
El
so I'm
Ghazi
thinking
did
about
go.
Trezeguet then. I think you are
Oh
right.
yeah, El Ghazi went to Everton,
Did he?
right? And yeah, he went the opposite way in the Dine
Yeah.
move.
Oh, you are right. You are right. Yep.
So I don't know if Stevie G is rolling this window. I doubt they have the budget to pick up three fairly large signings, but it could be a viable option.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly. And then the last big one, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Al Nassr, Saudi Arabia, has came in with a big surprise bid, apparently. This has been, again, these are all like today stories. This is a shock move. If that happened and he went to Saudi Arabia this young, that would be insane. I could see it happening, though. He's a bag chaser.
Yeah, and he definitely it feels like he just wants the fuck out of Arsenal, too, so.
Saudi League, the new Chinese league?
Maybe.
Either or.
How does Arsenal appoint their captains, man? It's insane.
They draw a name out of the hat.
Any other transfer news you guys can think of, or do you want to head on over to the previews for this week?
Let's head on over to the previews. We've done enough talking about transfers.
So we have quite a few picks again. We have another kind of like loaded sheet. We have multiple picks for a few games here. We're gonna stay in England. There's a couple other games that I kind of have marked as ones to watch. If you're sitting around trying to find a game this weekend, we're only doing picks for the Prem though.
6:30 a.m. Fiorentina.
Yeah, Fiorentina.
Cagliari.
The other one to watch in Italy is on Sunday. AC Milan versus Juventus. That one's going to be a good one. And then in Germany, the one to look out for this weekend is Hoffenheim versus Dortmund. Dortmund's kind of slacking off. They lost in, I believe, the Pokal or the German Cup to St. Pauli, like 2-1.
Yeah, dude. I was
really
getting the
weird
notifications for that game, and the goal notifications, because I just like pay attention. Dortmund are like, I guess I kind of like them in Germany. I don't know. I root for them.
The only team that can challenge Bayern.
Yeah, I saw that they were down 2-0 at one point to St. Pauli, and I was just like, oh my God, what is
Holland
happening?
got a penalty, I think, in the 58th minute. Weird one, and Hoffenheim's pretty good. I think they're in 4th place right now, so that'll be a good one to watch in Germany to see if they can pull off an upset. Regardless,
I mean, the German table's a little close too, so if Dortmund can win this game, they're only 3 points behind Bayern, so.
That's wild because it seems like Dortmund have been shit this year. I don't know if that's because Champions League or they just feel.
I think it's mostly because of the Champions League, and they started the season pretty bad, but they went on a nice little run, like the middle of their current season.
Mm-hmm. Regardless, we have 5 games to kind of look at here. We'll start off in Manchester actually with Manchester United West Ham. This one's weird because West Ham just lost a weird one to Leeds here at the weekend. Manchester United did beat Brentford. However, they're coming off another their past weekend result where they obviously drew with Villa. It's kind of a weird one. I pick Cristiano Ronaldo to score plus 110. I have sucked on player prop bets. He's kind of due to score a goal. So I am going to roll the dice on this one. I also just think that talk with Rangnick after the game might be some source of inspiration for him. So I actually like that. And him to score plus 110 isn't awful value. And then I have Manchester United draw no bet. That's minus 245. I know, horrible odds, but we're going to roll the dice on that one. West Ham just haven't. It seems like they're hitting another one of those kind of turbulent runs of weird form. So not really safe to bet on.
Yeah, I agree with that. That being said, I think that West Ham are going to beat Man United, but
really, you think they're going to beat them?
Disaster. Maybe not beat them, but I don't know. It just feels like one of those games that like United, they beat Brentford 3-1 today.
Yeah.
But the stuff with Ron and Rangnick, and like they haven't really looked super convincing in any of their games against like even decent opposition. And I don't know. I think West Ham might have the gall to come away at Old Trafford with a point. Maybe that's just me being the fucking one who likes to be like, you know what? Nah, the thing that's probably not supposed to happen is going to happen.
Fair.
But
Old Trafford has been no fortress this season, so
a lot of teams
fortress in about 10 years.
Just saying.
We'll stay in the Manchester realm, not in Manchester. We're actually heading down to the south coast of England. Southampton versus Man City. This one's going to be a good one. Man City, I'm going to take a minus 1.5. That's minus 125 odds, which I know this one's going to sound weird if you're familiar with this head-to-head matchup. City are only 2-1-1 against Southampton in the past 4. They've only won their last 3 Premier League games in a row by just a goal. So they haven't won one by multiple goals in the Premier League in a week or two. So I'm kind of favoring them for a big win here. I'm hoping they can get some offense going. Southampton, while they just had a really good result against Brentford, sucked against Wolves. If it wasn't for that James Ward-Prowse banger, they would have lost 3-0. So I favor a City win. I favor it by more than a goal.
Yeah, I think they're due a big win too. I also think it's important to note that despite the fact they've only won by 1 goal in their last 3, you kind of got to look at the opposition that they played.
Yeah,
the Emirates became kind of a tough place to go to in the last couple of years, despite City normally killing them. I don't know. That was just a weird game, but Arsenal played really well. And then even hosting Chelsea, you're hosting Chelsea. There's never going to be a big amount of goals in that. And Brentford, and the other game, Brentford have shown that like their home stadium is a kind of a tough place to go play. So I think 3 kind of tough games back to back to back. I favor City a lot in this game. I think, if I'm not mistaken, City are the best team away from home this season as well. I'm pretty sure just about everyone is fully fit. So yeah, I favor City pretty heavily in this game. I think they're going to kill them. And I also think that the win against Chelsea last week was kind of a one hand on the Premier League title kind of thing is what it feels like right now. I didn't get a chance to say that because we didn't do a review from last week. This week we're kind of just talking about some other shit, catching back up on Josh's picks and whatever. But I'd like to make it known that I think City would need a complete collapse in order for them to not be walking away Premier League champions this year.
And Liverpool can, I believe, with a game in hand, cut it to 8 with a win.
2 games in hand.
Okay.
You have 2 in hand. We're 13. City are 13 clear right now, but you guys have 2 games in hand, I believe.
Gotcha. So it's still
with 2 wins, we would cut it. We would cut it to. 7.
Oh no, you played the other day. It's 1 game now. It's 11 points. So yeah, win cuts it to 8. You were right, Josh.
Okay. So I would have been on your train here a little bit, Pat, of like City having one hand on the title. I've been saying that for about 2 weeks now. What I did like is after that Brentford game, Klopp still went over to the cop and did his like fist bump, and that kind of felt like emphatic as like we still have a chance, like we're still in this, like we are Liverpool. I really did enjoy that. That was kind of, I didn't get to watch much soccer traveling last weekend, so that was my big takeaway, especially from the Liverpool game, is like even in like the most weirdest of circumstances where like City have kind of just run away with the title out of nowhere, Klopp doing that little fist bump at the end of the game like just kind of gave me hope that like nothing is really settled yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can't just like count Liverpool out of a title race, especially this Liverpool team, man. But it's just like, are City really dropping 8 points? Yeah. Are they really going to drop 8 points this season? Like the it just feels It feels like that. I don't know. City Twitter have kind of given them this nickname of the Inevitables, and it just feels like they're inevitable, man. It's just like they feel so hard to stop.
Fair enough. And we're talking about Liverpool here, so Mitch, why don't you give me your thoughts first on Liverpool Palace this weekend? This is one that's been pretty entertaining over the past couple years.
It has been. However, the one thing we haven't had to deal with is AFCON. It seems like the big goal scorers that show up against Palace, Sadio Mane being one of them, seems to always find a goal or two in these matchups. And then in the fixture last time out, it was 3-0 with a goal from each of our AFCON boys.
I did notice that when I was writing that down. That was funny.
I think having a squad that was able to go grind out a really solid performance. Ox looked phenomenal. Trent was back to his normal self. Robbo looked fantastic. Taki had an unbelievable birthday game. It felt like a good solid win. So I'm confident with what we have going forward. I think we'll see another good performance from Curtis. Hopefully gets a few more chances than he probably should have had against Brentford. But I see Liverpool winning this easily, probably 3-1 again.
Yeah, so I had the pick for this one is Liverpool -1 plus 105. Good odds on that pick. Obviously, we're looking for Liverpool to win by more than one there. And we also have a separate pick of Liverpool to win and hold a clean sheet. So it's like a combined pick. That's plus 270. We're picking that one because Liverpool have won and held a clean sheet the last 4 times they've played Palace. In those 4 games, they've outscored them 16-0. So they've got battered. Do we
see like a back line of Tsimikas, Virgil, and Konate?
Yeah, it could be. I could see Klopp rotating a little bit. It is hard to drop Robbo, especially like when we had we are playing Arsenal tomorrow on my birthday. So
humble brag.
Yeah, humble brag. Like humble wish me happy birthday.
Happy birthday from the main Santa Josh. I didn't know it was his birthday the day after this episode comes out or the day after we record it. But
we'll turn it up tonight.
Happy birthday.
Anyway, I could see Tsimikas starting against Arsenal maybe. I think it's hard to drop Robbo after that game he had this weekend against Brentford. I might pick Robbo to start, but we'll see what the defense looks like. I could definitely see Konate playing.
Listen, the last time you picked a left back to start on the main stand, he didn't, and then I gave up fantasy.
Yeah, that was tough. That was a tough one because I gave a mortal lock on Tsimikas.
You mortal locked Tsimikas.
That was bad.
When that team sheet came out, I died laughing.
We need Fabinho lately too, man. That guy has turned into the Brazilian Ronaldo in January. 3 goals. I love Fabinho so much, man. Yeah, I think he'll have another game against Palace. That's the preview for Palace Liverpool. Everton Villa is the next one. 2 picks here again. I think Gerrard's going to start Coutinho, and I think it's going to be an automatic impact. So I have the Aston Villa first goal, so they just have to score first, -105. Pretty good odds on that. And then Villa draw no bet, -110. I could see Duncan pulling off a draw here. If it's a draw, get your money back. I do think Villa are the better team. I think this might be the best pick of the weekend because I think Villa will go to Goodison and do fairly well.
Every time I see DNB in your notes, I know it means draw no bet.
Yep.
But I always think of it as do not bet. I'm like, why are you telling these people
fade me
this if you don't think they should bet on it?
He's a scammer.
And then the last one here as we wrap things up for the week. Chelsea Tottenham. This is the big match of the weekend here in the Premier League. They just played like a week and a half ago though in the EFL Cup, I believe. Chelsea won that one 1-0. Pretty tight. Chelsea have only scored 3 in 3 games. They're really starting to hiccup. And that's why I kind of brought up the Liverpool thing is people were so quick to write Liverpool off when they were dropping games and saying, oh, Chelsea's going to overtake them in second. Chelsea have been shit lately, man. And I called that like a month ago that Chelsea were going to drop. And boy, have they. They can't even get points against Brighton. And I just don't see them getting much out of this game offensively. For Spurs, that win tonight really reassured me that they are building something. And this is one of those bogey games where it's like everything gets thrown out of the window. Tottenham might not be favored. Tottenham are still Spurs are Spurs at the end of the day. But it is one of those games where it's like Arsenal. It throws out the window and it's like a surprise result and they upset them. That's what I'm picking Tottenham for. Another draw, no bet, plus 295, which is ridiculous. So all Tottenham has to do is draw, you get your money back. If they win, plus 295 is like triple your money.
Good odds, yeah.
And then I have this under 2.5 goals as well. So that's minus 115, which I think is pretty likely too.
Yeah. I think that's a good – that feels like a pretty good bet. I think you're also spot on with Everton Villa being the bet of the weekend, but – I think if we were doing like a top three or like an honorable mention, best bet for the weekend, I think it would be this Chelsea Tottenham bet here. I also do favor Tottenham going into this one too. I think Chelsea have kind of been sputtering lately, and I'm not convinced by them going forward. They have just like a weird. Their top goal scorers are like Jorginho, and then their defenders are like they have like the most goals this season from defenders out of any other club. I don't know, man. They're just like they're a really funny side.
How did they win the Champions League?
Pep didn't start a defensive midfielder.
Bump, bump, bump.
Wow.
Listen,
and I think that wraps up most of our analytics for the week. You guys have anything else to add here as we wrap up the episode?
I feel like
nothing.
a week.
Yeah, it's kind of a moderate week, just one of those January weeks. We're kind of getting through the transfer window here. It's busy with the cup fixtures and stuff, but we have Champions League coming up soon. I think those are going to be some really fun episodes. I think we also have some fun content planned in general, kind of more similar to that FIFA draft, which was definitely one of our more popular videos. So I think we have more stuff coming like that, and with Champions League coming back, we're going to have some really cool stuff coming out, so stay tuned and keep up on all the social, all that stuff.
Hell yeah. Thanks for getting this far in the episode. If you did, a little bit of a shorter one this week, kind of similar to last week. Make sure you welcome Josh back to our home.
And wish me happy birthday on the thing, or I'll fucking chirp you from
wish Josh happy birthday on social media, or I'm going to fucking punch you.
You're going to get hit by the burner.
Yeah, Josh will get on the main stand and start tweeting at you guys.
Hey, I don't mean to be that guy and like swagger jack your birthday or anything, but
Mitch's is coming up too.
Mitch's is going to be before the next episode.
My birthday is also before the next episode. My birthday is on Tuesday.
Wish Mitchell a happy birthday. Wish Josh a happy birthday, and wish my younger brother a happy birthday too, bitches.
Yeah, Ben, if you're listening, it's my birthday.
He's not.
Not yours. We love you. Do the thing, share the thing, play it on the loudspeakers at your local house party. This has been episode 23 of the Main Stand podcast. We will see you next week.
Deuces.
Peace.